as sugar production nears 10,000 tons. Our most valued asset remains protected as management continues to demonstrate care and concern. In return, there is a call for mobilization. Do stay tuned for more on this week's program of Guysuco Roundup.
From the very land that gave sugar around the world the name Demerara comes the finest quality of cane sugar, Demerara Gold. Enjoy the real thing from the original source, the rich, fertile Demerara coastline where sugarcane has been harvested since the mid-17th century. The result is here for you to enjoy. Wherever this unique sugar flavor is needed, Demerara Gold is the ingredient that will always create a stir.
On Tuesday, August 25, the new Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa, along with a team from the ministry, visited the Guyana Sugar Corporation Incorporated, the Bon Intentions head office. In a brief session with senior managers of Guysuco, the minister, in his first familiarization visit, stated that it was essentially a short session. However, he will be returning to meet with the management and staff of the corporation. The minister then visited other agencies located in the Ministry of Agriculture LBI complex.
Before the crop commences, managers share the vision for the corporation, interacting with employees to hear their concerns and expectations. The Industrial Relations Department was present to remind us all of our commitments. The second crop also breeds greater expectations as there is a campaign launched to stir interest and believability.
Guysuco has about 8 to 10,000 employees. I'd say about 8,000 employees. We also are connected to 6,000 pensioners. There are about 200 businesses that are dependent on Guysuco, either directly or indirectly. They are, and our community input is also great. It's significant. We also need financing. So in terms of acquiring the requisite financing that is needed for our new business plan, so to speak, which is from 2020 to 2025. The I Believe in Guysuco campaign is not only about mobilizing the stakeholders so that we focus on the immediate. The immediate for us is our second crop 2020. We have a target to meet, and it's mobilizing employees around that second crop and stakeholders rather, so that we can achieve the target for the second crop. But it's also about mobilizing them around the new new business plan, so to speak, and sort of getting the stakeholders to focus on achieving the goals and objectives in that new business plan. Because the organization has gone through, sometimes we take it for granted that organizations and the employees in the organization might have gone through a difficult or turbulent experience and within the organization, and we take it for granted that through some natural process they're just going to sort of regroup again, refocus again. But here it is again. The I Believe in Guysuco campaign is now harnessing and channeling, and also it's about reflecting.
Achievements begin with a belief. It is molded in confidence and shaped by trust and interdependence. Albion Portmorant Estate is set to produce close to 40,000 tons of sugar. Blairmont Estate more than 20,000 tons of sugar. And Iflut Estate in excess of 11,000 tons. Expectations for the crop are shared in conversations with employees at every level.
In any race, when you're running, the best you could start off is always better. Right? You can't wait. It's December month we'll be playing with. Now, what are some of the expectations? And I mentioned some of these already. Right? While you might be regular to work, you gotta be punctual. You can't be 10 minutes, right? You can't give the people in time and say 10 minutes, you come late and 10 minutes before. Every time the SAS system with those who work in time, workshop, factory, elsewhere. 5 minutes before you could leave your workplace. You check. Many people before the 5 minutes, they already start pack up half an hour before. They start packing up half an hour before, right? And when you start doing it, start idle now, you're losing work, you're losing time, but you're getting paid. And we got to be very, very careful with that. And that goes to staff as well. Staff who run in the business, they got to ensure that we get value, right? We got to maximize our productivity in the workplace. We cannot have people in employment paying employment costs. That is also inefficiency. And they're not contributing to the requisite productivity. I think harvesting in terms of the cotton load is reasonable. Right? We are having our 2.6, right? Some people cutting more, but the bare loader is of serious concern. And we need to, the more cane you cut is better. You're supposed to be cutting 5 to 7 tons and stack it, an individual. To earn even more than what you cut in the loading. That is the whole system when we develop bare loading. If you, and some people do it. Some people do it, but not everybody. Our average is just 4.5 at that rate. When I started bare loading, we started bare loading at Prozar, we were getting 5 and above. Right? 5 and above. People dwindle away, people lifestyle change. The older generation could have got long hours because they had what it takes. We people now have what it takes, but we're not taking the opportunity serious. We're not taking the opportunity serious. Right? We need to be disciplined. There's no substitute for discipline and commitment. No matter what we say, we can't force people. You force people and you start to fight one another and start show strength, wasting time. You gotta be able to get that personal discipline. As I mentioned in my opening statement, we gotta be respectful, we gotta be disciplined for the people who we serve, who depend on us, who see us as somebody. Our children, our grandchildren, our niece and nephew, our neighbor. They would see us as a role model, whether good or bad, and you don't want to be that bad person. All of us are criticizing what is going on in our community. What are we doing to contribute for a better community, a better society? What are we doing? What are we doing to enable the loved ones that we are supporting, our children, when they go to employ later? What they have to show the people that they can be employed at a reasonable job? Are you equipping them with the skill and the level? Are you supporting them with what it takes to go to an employer and say, look, this is what I have? And say, yes, I need you. You have skill, you have mental power, you develop your intellect. And remember those things. Right? We need to adhere to system, establish grievance procedure. We keep talking about these things, right? You have to follow proper system, and then you can grieve. If you have, there will always be issues. We are dealing with field work, we're dealing with all the elements, we're dealing with different level of people, all sorts of things we're dealing with it. You will have some issues, right? And as more sensible people always do, they channel the matter. They channel the matter to the immediate supervisor, whether the foreman or the superintendent, or the shift manager, or the foreman in the factory, or the charge hand. And if they are not taking action, well, then you got to let the senior people know. And if they are not taking the necessary action, you got to hint it to the head of the department, or the HR manager. And if it have to reach to my level, well, so be it. But I will not tolerate people running straight to me and left those people to have the greasy pig effect. And so it's not because shippers want you to adhere to the grievance. It's a better way of dealing with things. Right? And some people are dealing with it very, very good. I must tell you, we have some reps, a lot of reps who are dealing with it very good, excellent, and they're having issues. And when we knock heads together, we work together, we manage to see you get a better resolution of whatever issue. Right? You resolve the issues better. You don't fight and involve in extra energy going waste. Your energy diverted sensibly. We depend on you. We cannot replace you easily. The skill, the experience that you develop over the years, we just can't hire someone off a road and bring in and say, do this work for this person doing. No way. You have experience, you have knowledge, you know what you're doing. You know the groundwork, right? So you have to keep yourself safe so that when you come to work, you go back, right? Safe to your work, to your home. The skill, the art of doing work, right? You must do risk assessment, especially places like the factory, the field workshop and elsewhere. Even in the harvesting, cutlass is not the easy thing. And a lot of people don't know to use cutlass, and I ask the staff that they know to use a cutlass so that when you chop, you don't chop towards your body. A lot of people chopping towards the body. So when you put extra effort, the cutlass fly through come, you know, even little vine there, you hope the cutlass you might change the direction though. But we got to take some time, we got to know what we do it. Standard and quality. This goes for all levels. From the estate manager right down. I'm not about work alone. Each person gets standard in the job. I have standard and quality that I have to deal with. It might be physically when you see, but whatever I'm delivering to my superiors, I have to ensure that it be properly done and done to certain standard. Right? And I have to ensure that managers that are working under me, they are well equipped, they have the knowledge, they know what they're doing, and they are getting people to work.
Average man at this estate cut to be a load of 4.3 tons last crop. The requirement is 5 tons per man. Right? We had good kills, 73 tons kills, but we closed with 71, 79, 94. Good kills, but we still only achieved 4.3 tons. As against a requirement of 5 tons. The productivity level is also an area of concern. Infrastructure. We got poor dams, poor bridges, poor Alberta road. We know these things. But we can't fix all overnight. We have to fix them progressively. And we are trying with what we do have. Crusher Run, we did not receive a single stone to this year yet. But we are expecting that we will have, sometime during the course of this week or early next week, 500 tons will come, which we'll use to patch the Alberta road. There's a second 500 tons we're supposed to be collecting. Based on how the finances will be, we'll try and get that also shortly after that 500 tons, after the first 500 tons, so that we can do some major upgrades on the road. With regards to structures, we are pretty bad after the structures. There's no secret, but our budget, our capital budget has not been really approved, and therefore we can't do any revetment at this time. I can't overemphasize safety. Right? Best safety device is a careful worker. I can't be safe for you, you got to be safe for yourself. I notice, I must say, I notice a lot of people stand up in trucks, step and so on, but maybe it's because we're traveling less people in the trucks. But that's an improvement. ISO Protera this truck. Well, not Protera, but we have ISO in June. The June ISO added this truck, which will require in September. If our goes well, we go to come back and the guys to come, which will require us being on top of our game using the factory which are required. Well, standard gentlemen, again, you have seen this before, but we can't continue with this. Trash and poor stacking. This is the border bars we were talking about that will cause me to push fire. Right? This will also cause me to pick up mud because pick up this scale. You either run the bell and just drain it because one minute. You have a changing machine, right? One we got the overheat and one got the overheat. So either put it in the drain or you got cross it like this and try and push and pick it up. And in doing that, pick it up mud. Because the workers start getting bad in the water. How do we intend to become more efficient? You already know we have harvesters, contracted harvesters on board. Unfortunately, we only have one contractor who would have tendered for this year, which is Mr. Anderson. He works both with Albion and Lemon. And basically, we'll come to whichever estate based on the excellency of the job. In other words, if Albion is critical, he will work there. If Lemon is more critical, he will come here. Right? But he's contracted to both estates. We got to maximize the pocket chip, as I mentioned just now. We need to achieve our intelligent planting program and our sources. I didn't mention this one, cane transport. Right? This crop, we will be looking to engage contractors to transport canes. The reason for that being, we don't have sufficient cane transport tractors. We should have 8 in the fleet. We will be starting 5 of the estate machines. That means that we will short 3 tractors. So we are hoping that we will be able to fill that gap by outsourcing the cane transport contractor. And that will come with the tractor and the output alone. The chain by will start to work with the contractor because I don't believe anybody can go out the road and solve that with the chain. So the safety, our chain miles will have to work with that. On this same note, we will also be looking to employ more trucks. Right? And say more trucks because we're going back into COVID, we will continue to operate under COVID restrictions. We need to transport our workers on time. So we have gotten approval already to employ 7 additional trucks. The question is, we find 7 additional trucks. Right? So we will look at that. If we are successful with that, then we may very well be able to bring out the artists at one time. At this time, I can't tell you, I'm in front of you. At this time, we basically will start back the same way we have one gang community. But once we get all the lorries, we'll want to bring everybody one time. Factory people say, we factory well ready. They can't bring cane to the man, we get good. And they feel very struggling in the rain, and they can't get it. But only one good, they want to stay there. Right? And unless we work together, all of us will know. No matter how long it's going to be, coming out of the place. So we got to ensure that we all play our part. Right?
Ladies and gentlemen, without your inputs, without the workers' inputs, we would have been nowhere close to where we are, despite the challenges we have been faced with. I have no doubts that what is it that you have to offer, along with the workforce, the caring workforce, the attitude of you, with your workforce, together as a team, we will be coming. And so, I say to you, 2020, with all of us input together, walking safely, walking together as a team, we will be coming home and make ICAR proud once again. So what is it that we have for second half 2020? We have learned basically that what is it that we would have seen in the first half should not transit itself to the second half. We have seen the factory to be with significant amount of inspection and work done within the factory to ensure that downtime of 415.68 hours does not manifest itself during the second half of 2020. It would have been an opportunity we would have had to ensure that better attention being paid to details. And certainly, what is it that we have started in the second half and continue to the end to make it a better factory with a better performance? Definitely, we have to continue it. On the same breath, we have seen the field because of the dry condition we have faced with a state of play where we have had a downplay with the weather, being drier than normal, very abnormal weather. We cope with it, and more so, what would have happened? We look at managing the farm in a better way. The little that we have to offer in the second half, of which 26% of it will be supplied by farmers. We have to ensure that we maximize on the production and productivity from all. In so doing, we will be realizing our sugar production, which is just about 11,527 tons of sugar, is expected to be produced during the second half of 2020. Not too large an amount, but equally it is a significant amount to ensure that we take off timely and we prepare ourselves to embrace first crop and second crop 2021. Adequately put we have to ensure that we prepare the grounds for a bigger and better 2021 in terms of production. I'm confident that with all that we have put together as a team belonging to Alphatest team, we will be bringing home the second half 2020 in better performance. You are the one who would have done it before. You are the one who would have been encouraged to do it during this outcrop period. You are the one who have been doing it in the outcrop period. And I expect you to continue that performance in the second half.
Thank you, Ian. I'm sure we've all listened and paid attention to what Ian had to say to us. The pre-crop brief sessions will be held with a difference this year, again, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So, for the cross-sectional workforce, we will not be meeting with them physically as we were accustomed to. They will be given flyers. So the onus is on us. I said us, all of us in this room, to get the message out to the workforce, what will be presented here, encourage them that we all have to work as a team for the better of not only this estate, but the corporation as a whole.
Teamwork, commitment, dedication, right? May, June. What is synonymous with those 2 months? May, June.
Rain.
Rain. But we were grinding. We had production in those, well, entire May and 2 weeks in June. But what is disappointing, and is again also hurtful for me, is when you look at, you see this market cane harvester strike report from May and June 2020. When you look at this, and this number here, and then you look at this here, also this. Right? These 4 things. I mean, May, we had COVID we were dealing with in March, April. With the weather being good, we were able to push the crop because we had to get the production. But then when you see these numbers here, guys, good sense gotta prevail. Good sense gotta prevail. If it's by hook or by crook, you guys are gonna have to help us to have good sense prevail. We can't say, listen, it's them buying, you know. It's not them buying, it's all of us will be consumed with these things. Because imagine we didn't make our target, but yet we were far behind because of all things that was happening. But we continue to have, you know, these little things here where you got strike, disrupt things. Imagine June, June, when we only grind up to 12th of June, you get 2 strikes. 2 strikes. This is the industry strike report for the same period. We had a total of 4 strikes, 6 of layer 1. You see, the 6 is only cane harvester strike, right? The guy got 6 conditions before. When you look at here, you had 2, but you know you get 5. Now if I tell you what happened here, I think you all know. You had recleaners striking because they don't want to give the recleaning standards, which are the standards documented, but because we weren't enforcing on the estates, when we started enforcing it, people don't want to do it. When head office representative come to these pre-crop sessions, is to give us, or to share with everybody the industry perspective. Because you would have gotten everything about the estate, right? But you need to also understand what is happening at our sister estates and what is happening in the industry. Now let's look at algae, forest crop. I want to focus, while there are a lot of numbers there, focus on only 2 columns. You see this one marked total here? Look at the headings, right? Grinding time, out of cane time, time loss, other, sugar production, cane harvest attendance, right? But I want us to focus on this total column straight across, and then second crop 2019, 20 weeks, those 3 numbers. Now look at Okay, first of all, let me focus on this. The estate ground for 60 weeks, right? 60 weeks the factory ground for. Yeah, Alvin. I'm looking at Alvin because I'm giving the industry perspective, right? 16 weeks. But in reality, the factory only ground for 9 weeks, you know. Because if you take this total grinding hours here and you divide by 140, it's 9 weeks. We lost 8 weeks out the cane and time loss. That's inefficiency. This is Blair month. Right? This is Blair month. The same thing like Alvin, right? Look at those same columns. Look at the same numbers. Blair month went for 18 weeks. Right? You see this thing here? This group thing here, not weekly production incentive. And you see this yellow here, unscheduled grinding weeks. So from 12 to 18 is unscheduled grinding weeks, right? But the blue one here, you can't see none. I will overemphasize this because we already know what happened here. But then when you look at this total for grinding hours, 1,592. If you take this and divide it by 140 hours again, the factory in reality ground for 11 weeks. We lost 6 weeks due to out of cane time and other issues. So inefficiency again. These are real numbers we're looking at, you know.
Guysuco commits to building partnerships with stakeholders for a more resilient business, strengthening its position with the unions by seeing them as valuable partners for the achievement of this target in the second crop of 2020. The management is also finding innovative and creative ways to keep the employees motivated and engaged despite the disruptive transition process, which is now compounded by the challenges around the global COVID-19 pandemic. Company Health and Safety Officer, or Morris, adds direction.
The use of PP. Person ought to be trained, first of all, in way to use a PP or put it on or take it off. Because if we're dealing with a virus that would lodge on surfaces, possibility is that if someone, you have the mask and would come into contact with someone, probably would have sneezed or through speech, droplets get onto the surface here. Assuming that the person has the virus would be present on the surface of this mask. So when you would have put it on, trying to do a demonstration, you ensure that first of all the nose piece is fitted on properly. You adjust the top mask, the top band. This must go above here, somewhere more like off center of your head, and the other one just around by the kind of neck. When that is done, it's important that you wash your hands, because you would have been making contact with the outer surface of the mask. And you wash your hands. The same thing is done when you finish, when you have to take it out. You need to ensure that again, when you take it off, you wash your hands again. So you're making contact with your outer surface.
And with that, we have come to the end of this week's program of Guysuco Roundup. Thank you for staying tuned. Do stay safe until next time. I'm Anjani Sunarayan and I believe in Guysuco. Goodbye now.